Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. 9 o'clock a.m. straight up for me in Fresno, California. I see Selden Ball must be East Coast time because he said there was a few seconds left of the morning just moments ago. Let's see if I got audio check here. Let's see if I got audio check. Yep. Audio coming through 5x5. And today's title, Windows Daily 88, Configuring My XFinity Comcast Router. Hello to everybody in the chat room. And we'll take a quick look there and see what we've got. So we got Tony, Aaron Werner. Hello, it seems like it's been a while since I've seen your name. Parker Morris, Ran Israel, Selden Ball, Ken Stout. And Tony again says AVDVR. Good. So let's get the show rolling here. I was going to say get the ball rolling, but I don't want Selden to think I'm going to be messing with him. Rolling him down a hill. Whatever. So to do this, first I need to find out what is my gateway address. And I'm going to do this in a way that somebody else could figure out how to configure their own router. That's the idea behind this. Doesn't matter whether you're Comcast or AT&T or whatever other internet provider you might have in your neck of the world. Yes, I said world. I didn't say your neck of the woods. So to do that, we'll click on the Windows button and then CMD and click on Command Prompt. We don't have to be in administrator mode for this. And then type ipconfig and enter, and then scroll up if you need to. We're looking to see what your gateway address is. Here it says get default gateway. That's the IPv6 address. It's the IPv4 address that we're interested in. So then most routers, to log into them and configure them, you just go to a web page and type in that address. 192.168.1.1. This is the local address within your network, within your home, apartment, wherever you're at. So some of you are going to have that same exact address to get to your router. You're not going to my router, you're going to yours. And now here we need to find out what is the username and password for connecting to that device. You might not know what it is. One method you could use to find that is to look at the router itself. There may be a label on the router that gives you that information. I took a photo of the label that's on my router a couple days ago when I first got the idea of doing this as a live stream. Actually, I didn't. I was just going to go do some configuration work on my router, and I said, wait a minute, I should do this as a video. Let's go. I'm looking here to pull that up on screen. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So here's that label. Now, some of you might be screaming out at your screen, no, Doug, don't show that over YouTube. It's okay. And I'll explain why it's okay. You do need to be concerned about that. Maybe you don't want to reveal this information because it may have the password, the username and password for signing into your router. In my case, it doesn't. I already know that. It shows the network name right here is the SSID for connecting to my Wi-Fi. It says the name would be XF Setup E40D, and then here's the password for it. Well, that's not current. It's already been changed from that. I'm not sure when or how it got changed, because when I exchanged for a new router from XFinity Comcast, used to be Comcast, now it's XFinity. I still call it both ways. I don't think I ever went in and configured it. I think it somehow, I think they had a method to inherit the settings that I had on the previous one, because that's not my Wi-Fi. And this label does not have login credentials. There's no other label on the device. So what is the credentials for signing into that? If you don't find it on the label, then the next thing that I would do, and I've commonly done this, and this has commonly been what I need to do, is to do a Google search. XFinity, and you can see there I have recently searched it, XFinity default router login, and press enter. So here, very commonly, it'll show just in this blurb without even having to click into it. If you haven't changed your admin login, your admin tool login, the default settings are username admin, and the password is password. It's case sensitive, so you have to do it in lowercase. So I did this a couple days ago, started to do it, and then I canceled. I said, no, let's do this during a live stream. So it's admin and password. Before I do that, I'm going to go take a look at chat, see if there's anything of concern. Oh, Lana Dro says just what I needed. And Dennis says his is 192.168.2.1. Come on down. Dennis's stream did not redirect to this live stream right now. For those who don't know about that, Dennis and I play Fortnite on live stream every morning. It was started 2 hours ago, and he very kindly and generously puts in an auto redirect so that his viewers on Fortnite will be prompted to come to this live stream. Now, let's get over here and try that. So it was admin. Sometimes on routers, the username is case sensitive. A lot of times, username and password, the username would typically not be case sensitive, but in routers, I've seen that is the case. And then password. Let's see if that works. And click login. And I get a message here that says you are using default password. Please change the password. So it's going to make me change it right now. I'm not going to save this to RoboForm or to LastPass. Yes, I have paid editions of both of them. Get over it. Click OK here. Then I put in the current password, which is password. Now, what would you like me to use for the new password? You want to vote on it as a group? Well, no, I'm not going to take what you vote. So I'm making up a password right now. Now, the way I do this is I pick random words and put them together. I don't pick something that means something to me. I don't pick it that it's going to be easy for me to remember, because I'm going to put this information somewhere, and it's going to be 2 or 3 words typically. And I'm just making those words up right now on the fly. And then I typically put numbers in there somewhere. It could be between the words, could be at the end. Usually I don't put them at the beginning, because some passwords don't want numbers at the beginning. And I'll throw in a symbol somewhere along there as well. So it's such that I can look at what it is and I can remember it long enough to type it in, and type it in easily if I'm a touch typist. So here we go. So there's that password. I'm going to type it in again. Oh, only letters and numbers are valid. No spaces or special characters. Oh, so they don't want a special character. Well, in this case, I did the special character at the end. So I'm going to backspace once. I'll click up here and backspace once and see if it likes that. Yes, it accepts that as the same on each of those. So I'm not going to click show typed password. If you're doing this yourself, that would be a good idea. Actually, I am going to, but I'm going to take that off camera so that I'm sure that I typed it in the way I think I did, because if I do it wrong here, then it's kind of difficult to reset that to default. You would have to reset default settings on the router, and it could wind up being a phone call to Comcast. So I do have that typed in correctly. I'm going to actually highlight it and Yeah, no, I was going to put in my paste buffer, but I'm not going to do that either because I might accidentally show that to you later. So here we go. And then we'll save that. Changes. Save successfully. Please log in with a new password. So it wants me to log in with that new password and gets me back to that prompt. So it's going to be the same username, admin, and then type in that password. If I had copied that, then I could just press Control V here to paste it. And some people will say you shouldn't be copying passwords because if your computer is already compromised by an evildoer, they could see your clipboard buffer and see what that password is. There's some other ways they could exploit that too, but I'm not going to go into that now because I'm not really sure that I can. So here I'm logging in. And this should get me into the gateway configuration. Now I'm going to, we'll come back to this in a minute, start working through this. I'm going to save this to RoboForm. And this is going to be the third password that is saved. Yes, I am going to. I will update that. And then I'll update it also to LastPass. I'm not going to try to explain to you now why I have paid versions of both of them. I don't recommend it. I'm going to go to another page here and how secure is my password. I'm going to do that search and then demonstrate the level of security that I use on passwords. And I highly encourage you to get complex with your passwords. This tool is now, oh, that's right. It's at a different location now because I got to click on security.org. This is where they're maintaining that capability. So I'm putting in that password that I just created on my router. 2 trillion years for a computer to brute force that, crack that password. Let's come back to the router. There, this tab. I'll take a quick look at chat. Nothing else new in there. It looks like I am still streaming. I'm showing 0 dropped frames. Now, there was a reason a couple days ago that I wanted to go into here. And you don't need to tell me about what I just exposed because I will change that. What was I going to do in here? Firewall, IPv4. Oh, yes, I remember. It's when we were dealing with DNS settings. And changing DNS settings, I was contemplating changing this static DNS on my computer. I think I showed how to do that in that video. I'll go ahead and give a reminder on that as you right-click on the network icon down in the bottom right corner of this in the notification area. Looks like a computer monitor or it looks like a Wi-Fi signal. And then go into change adapter options and then right-click on your network adapter, choose properties, go to the IPv4 selection, click properties, and then down here for use following DNS server addresses. And I'm not even going to remember what to call these, but 1.1.1.1 and 8.8.8.8, I think were 2 of them. I actually went in to save that cheat sheet. Let me go display that because I kind of want to know that. I have it in tech resources and whoops, lost that. Tech resources, scroll all the way down to the bottom is where new things get added. Best free and public DNS servers. Somebody took a photo of this cheat sheet, so I went and searched for it to find it. So these are the Google DNS servers and the secondary Google, and the other was Cloudflare, was 1.1. Some people have this memorized. I don't have any reason to memorize which is which. So rather than doing that in here, I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to do it at the router so that the router will assign the DNS addresses to my computers. I have multiple computers. I didn't want to go around to all of them and set that up. I'm kind of interested in maybe putting Google as the primary and Cloudflare as the secondary. You can mix it up like that. You don't have to use Cloudflare's primary and Cloudflare's secondary. Now, if there is a reason to prefer to do it one way or the other, I'm not sure what those reasons are, but I would guess that, for instance, if Google's DNS server was down, then it's possible that both their primary and secondary might be down. So you could, for instance, have Google as your primary DNS, and you could have Cloudflare's primary as your secondary DNS. You could test your, do a network speed test, and I think it's the latency that you care about with these two addresses to see which one performs better. So you might set up the Google as your primary and Google as your secondary DNS and do a speed test and see what your latency is and your overall speed, and do the same thing with Cloudflare. Right? I think it's the latency that matters. I'm a little bit weak in that area, so don't quote me on it. See if anybody's answering that. No, it doesn't look like that. Oh, Ran Israel. Yeah, in the comment section of Tuesday's stream, Zavi Manor posted a link to a DNS benchmarking tool. That might be useful. I'll probably experiment with that a little bit and then maybe include that in a live stream. So let's get back to the objective at hand, is to go change the address, the DNS addresses on my router. So if I go to local IP network, I think this is where it's going to be. Here's a gateway address, DHCP address. Down here, that's IPv6. So this is not where I get the DNS address. XFinity network, I don't think it is there. I would thought it's going to be in, it's going to be where DHCP is being assigned. I think maybe advanced. Let's look at advanced. Nope, not there. Gateway. Let's look there. At a glance, no. Connection. That's where I was thinking it would be. WAN network? No, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't be there. Local IP. Is it here and I'm just not seeing it? It's not DHCP. Save settings. Not there. No. WAN network. No, that's wide area network. Firewall IPv4 shouldn't be there. That's for security settings. Connected devices. I wouldn't think it's there. No. See, I told you I have a lot of devices, a lot of computers. It's not advanced. Port forwarding, port triggering, remote management. No, none of that. It should be in gateway. Why am I not seeing it? Connection. Let's look at status. Okay, looks like it's going to be in here. Local IP network. Because I have an edit button here. Delegated prefix, global gateway. No, I've already been there. All right, I'm going to go look at chat. Somebody's telling me where it's at. Oh, manage home network settings. There was a more button over here. Is that where they hid it? No. DNS. Come on, where is it? It's not Mocha. Not WAN network. Well, where in the world is it? Don't tell me they couldn't have taken away that capability. All right, I'm going to go look at chat. Are you telling me where? Local IP network. In the comments section. No, choose quad, and saying local IP network. Local IP network. DNS. I'm looking for a place that's DHCP, save settings. Where's DNS? .NET. Oh, come on. Is there some kind of an advanced mode? Mocha, Wi-Fi, Internet. In there, that's local IP network. There's no DNS selections there. Well, it should be where DHCP is handed out to computers. This gives the IP range. This is DHCP. I don't see any place to fine-tune DHCP. It would make sense possibly in advanced, but it's not there. Remote management would be for remotely managing the router from elsewhere on the internet. Not there. It's not going to be device discovery. I'm thinking they don't let us do that. Really? Reset, restore gateway, diagnostic tools. This should give some choices here for resetting router, restore Wi-Fi settings, restore factory settings. Not there. Anybody else see it? I'm going to go back and look at chat in a moment. If I don't find it, I'm going to call this a fail. Shouldn't be in firewall. Custom security. If I go there, that's just things that I can block. That's not changing DNS. All right, back to chat. Maybe that router simply doesn't provide that functionality. I'm thinking about buying a pre-built. That's off. Ran Israel, very strange. So you're agreeing with me. It's not there. Jeff says it was near the bottom of the screen on a page that had an edit button in the upper right. Okay, the places we saw the edit buttons was, I think, at a glance. No. Just looking here as well, though. This more button just says that. It was status, connection status. That's where the edit buttons were. Yeah, here's the edit buttons. Okay, Control F, DNS. Oh, it is here. IPv6 DNS. There's only one hit for DNS. It's an IPv6. So if I do that edit button, and in the IPv6, search again this page for DNS. DNS does not occur on this page. There is nothing here for change local global gateway, link local. Go back to status, look at that again. DNS only occurs once on this page. I would expect it to be editing the local IP network. Private Wi-Fi network. Private Wi-Fi network. I've got two of them. And I don't see it. XFinity network. Let's look at these two. XFinity network. See if there's something more in here. Oh, that only lets me view. Oh, there it is. Now, Control F, DNS. There's 4 occurrences. There's DNS. Okay, so can I change that? It said I could come in here to view this. It didn't have an option for editing. These are the Comcast DNS servers. Nothing in here, nothing at all that I can edit. This is only a viewing screen. Come back again to status. XFinity network. See, this doesn't say edit. Like these others say edit, edit. That's only view. This is WAN network I can edit. And that just took me down to this section. So I think I'm gonna have to agree with, who was it, Ran Israel, that said it's just not configurable. So the DHCP service in this router, I cannot configure it for DNS. I can configure it to change the DHCP address range. This is what controls what IP address my computer has. So if I go back to that DOS command prompt, you see that my computer, this computer, has an IP address of 181. So that's between those two numbers. Not there. So the only way that I can specify a specific DNS address is by static coding it on this computer. Now, it's not, I'm not going to agree with this comment from Rand. Looks like your ISP forces you to use their servers. No, because they can't prevent me from putting in a static DNS address on my computers. The router will still use Comcast DNS servers. Now, does that give Comcast more capability of seeing where I'm going? It does, in the sense that I'm using their DNS servers all the time. So they're seeing what website addresses my computer is requesting. What a DNS server does is it converts a domain name such as Microsoft.com. It converts that to an IP address, because the networking equipment communicates by IP addresses, not by domain name website addresses. In the network settings, look for advanced. And Jeff says, it says the router has DNS servers encoded on it. You cannot directly change them. So when he says, it says, I'm thinking maybe that was a Google search where you found that. When you use ipconfig all, do you get any IPv4 DNS listed? Good question. Although it would be the 75.75.75.75. So let's do that. What he's saying there is scroll down to the bottom here, ipconfig space / all. Whoops, got to spell the word all correctly. And then scroll up to find DNS. Here's DNS servers. It's showing all IPv6 addresses, even though we did see an IPv4 address in the router. Now, this would be because I have IPv6 enabled on this computer. So I'm going to try a couple things that could crash the live stream, but I don't think it will, because my computer has already resolved the address for youtube.com and for XSplit, if it's communicating through XSplit. It's already resolved those addresses to IP addresses. So when I change the static IP, to a set of static DNS on my computer, I don't think that'll interrupt my stream, because the communication that's currently active, they're already using IP addresses. So I think I can change my DNS static address on this computer while the live stream is running. I don't think it'll crash the stream, but it might. I don't know. I'm also going to disable IPv6 during the live stream. I don't think that'll crash anything, but that's going to be fun to see. So let's see. Changing DNS server on XFinity router. Look this up on Google. The address was too long. Okay, I'll try. Well, let's see. Change. Okay, I'll Control-C, copy that, and come up to here. Ken, it looks like I'm going to be long today. Ken Stout, I do have the auto redirect set up for you, but this is just too interesting. Change DNS server. Best solution is to bridge. Wow. Now that's a May 2020 result. Here is a March 14th, 2022. Let's go look at that. How to change DNS settings on XFinity router. By the internet was stuck, network outage for a week. However, things took a turn. Extensively explained. When I got first thing I did was research public DNS. I succeeded in minutes. Did not cost a dime. Now I have stable. You can change your DNS service from the network manager on your operating system. Consider switching to public DNS servers. Well, that's what I was already saying I'm going to do. You're not changing it on the router there. You're just changing it static on your computer. And you can't do it in the router. I think that's what this is telling us, that we can't change it on the router. I didn't read through that in detail, but I think that's what it's saying. He says keep scrolling. I got a different result. That's typical Google. Already changed the time, Ken did. And you don't actually have to change the time on your live stream, Ken. You can start it late. What is DNS? So he said keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling here or on the Google search results. There's a lot here. This scrolls a long distance. What was that? XFinity router DNS setup on Mac. And from that, yeah, see here they're also doing it the same way. They're changing it on the network adapter on the Mac computer. They're not changing it in the XFinity router. Use your own router. So this is another solution, is to put in your own router instead of XFinity's router. So Jeff, is there something more specific there? You pass it. Tell me what to search for, what words to search for at the location that you want me to find, because that's way too long. I'm not going to find it by scrolling up and down, and there's a delay. So you can't even tell me in chat that that's it, because I will have scrolled past it. So tell me some words to search for, Jeff, at the location. Scroll up to the Windows section. Well, I can't search for those words. Windows section. I'll copy that. Let's see, did he just give it? Router. The router has DNS servers. There. I'll search for that. So here, Control F and then Control V, paste. And here it is. The router has DNS server records encoded on it. You cannot directly change them. All right, well, that's just what we were already saying. That's not a fix. It's not a way to edit it. That's just documentation from robotpoweredhome.com that you cannot directly change them. So should I go back to my plan of configuring static addresses? On my actual cable modem router, I don't think you can change it either, but in my Synology, I could. Yeah, I could put in my own router to do it. In the command line, I believe it's ipconfig. Yeah, no, we don't need that. I know how to do this. We don't need Alex for that. But it can't be done on the router. So enough of that. Let's go fix it the way I was saying I was going to fix it. Go into the properties. Whoops, no, not properties. I want to go to Ethernet, change adapter options. However you get there. Right click, properties. So here I'm going to, which way do I want to start? Yeah, I'm going to start by putting in the DNS addresses here. I'll click to use the following DNS server addresses, and let's use, I'm going to do Google. Where was that at? Here. Google's is 8.8.8.8, then 8.8.4.4. So 8.8.8.8, and then 8.8.4.4. Click OK. Now, in case this does crash the stream, I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye. I don't think it will. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, 0. Click. And we're still here. I think we're still live. Let's make sure everything's still working. There's a place your bets. My bet is it won't crash the stream. That's what I'm hoping for. Hoping what? That it won't crash the stream, or will? So I prefer to use my own router with the ISP's device in bridge mode. Dennis says it won't crash. So it didn't crash. Now I'm going to turn off the IPv6. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go look again at what a new ipconfig /all shows. I don't think it'll even show, will it show the new DNS yet? DNS servers. No, it doesn't show the change in DNS until I do an ipconfig refresh or renew. That might crash the stream. We got to try it, right? Now let's go back here and see that on these DNS servers, I'm still seeing the IPv6. Now, if I remove the check mark and click close there, that should apply that. Now, does that take hold right away? Let's do another. I'll press up arrow key, ipconfig all, and see if the IPv6 address is still shown. No, they don't. The IPv6 is gone. And notice that I've got the new DNS showing. So I did not have to renew. There's the new DNS servers. So that worked, and it's still streaming. Now, it would have been interesting if I'd done a speed test before changing the DNS to see if the latency changed. But we'll do that another time because we've been long enough here. So I'm going to give a last look at chat. Lawn Dog, yeah, when it does a renew, that's a possibility. Again, let's give it a try and we could learn something. Please don't do it at an appropriate time in the stream in case that happens. Okay, so I have changed the DNS servers. We've seen it successfully take effect on this computer. We've found that we can't do it on the XFinity router. They've got it locked in now. And I also disabled the IPv6, so that's just not a thing anymore on my computer. According to Selden Ball, one search result claimed that XFinity redirects non-Comcast DNS searches to their own. Instead, you should check that too. Okay, we can check that. One more test, re-enable IPv6 and run ipconfig all. Well, that's going to show the IPv6 addresses for those DNS servers. All right, here I guess we're going long. Let's go back. I'm not quite sure what the point in doing this is. Click there. Now, I'm thinking maybe that change didn't show up on the DNS because I hadn't clicked OK yet. I think I just stayed on this screen. Maybe that's why we didn't see the change of the DNS. So here I'll up arrow. So I got the ipconfig all. And then scroll up and we should see, yeah. So these would be the IPv6 addresses for Google's DNS servers. I'm not quite sure why you wanted that. Now, as far as does Comcast redirect them, if we do, let's see, what is it? IP route? Route IP? What is it? ROUTE No, IP route. Oops, spell it right. IP route. No, what is IP route? What is? I'm not getting the word right. What is the command? Route. It's not IP. Oh, it is route. Route. Then can I do ping? Let's see. LiveWindowsTraining.com. There is a website for that. It is a domain name. No, I'm not getting it there. What am I missing, guys? Tell me what I'm missing. So rare that I do this. Route tables. If I do route msn.com. I'm still not getting it. Route network routing tables route. It should give me reports of all of the addresses that the traffic is going through. Trace route, thank you, that's it. That's what I wanted. I recognize that right away. Trace route. Windows Live Training.com. This should show me all the addresses that it goes through. Does it go through Comcast DNS services? Windows Live Training.com. Do I need a www at the beginning of that? No. What am I doing wrong? Come on. Traceroute msn.com. Do it that way. Here we go. This is showing all of the hops, and it should show all the IP addresses it's going through. So it's going through my router's gateway, and then it's going through this address. So that's the first address it's going through, 96.120. Who is that? I didn't trace route an IP address. I traced route a domain name, which should, I would think, go through a DNS server, unless, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. What it does is, when I did a traceroute msn.com, the first thing it did, and we didn't see this happen, we could use what's the sysinternals process monitor. We could use process monitor to see this traffic. We're not seeing it because, see this IP address here? My computer has already acquired the IP address for msn.com. So it's already done the DNS name resolution. It has converted ms.com to this IP address. So we're not seeing that with traceroute. We'd have to use process monitor, or we'd have to capture network packets through the router in order to see if that traffic actually does go through Comcast's DNS servers. All right, that's enough of this. Use NSLOOKUP, no arguments, to see what it says. Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to Control-C to break that. NSLOOKUP, no arguments. Address. Yeah, see there, Comcast. Default server, Comcast. So NSLOOKUP for name search or name services. That's what that stands for. Oh, that actually put me into a prompt. Now, NSLOOKUP gets me into an NSLOOKUP prompt. What do I do now? Ping msn.com. I don't know what the commands are here. That's timed out. But is this right here, default server, tell us that NSLOOKUP is going through Comcast instead of the DNS server that I request? Enter the host name. Just type a name. It'll do the DNS translation. Okay, so I'll do LiveWindowsTraining.com. Server Comcast. So that went through Comcast, even though I have my DNS server set up for Google. I want to try that sequence on a computer that is not using a Comcast network. I could do that from a client's computer and see what I want. What I want to see is, does that prove that all DNS actions are going through Comcast? I don't know. I'll go experiment with that on Process Monitor since I have that here. Okay, that's enough. This has been way too long. What do we got? 43 minutes. Let's go say goodbye and send you on to Ken Stout's live stream. For those of you who are interested in watching that, you should get an auto redirect to that. So I hope this has been useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.